Hello everyone, how's it going? I'm WoWcrendor, and we're camping in WoW again. Me and Nixxiom. What up, Nixxiom?
Just enjoying this bacon and this nice warm cozy fire. How's it going, Crendor? I'm doing great.
It's going pretty good. The last time we went camping, it was a few months ago, and I kind of like having this as like our little podcasty thing. It's like fishing with Crendor, but it's like a camping with me and you because it's like nature, chilling out, having a talk.
Yeah,
I like it.
I do. It's fun. But we were in Dunmoreau last time in the winter, but now it's getting a little bit warmer. It's still kind of cold where I live. I'm in that phase. I live in North Carolina, guys, and North Carolina is that one state where it's like during this time of the year and during fall, it'll fluctuate between being like really freaking hot one day, like 90 plus degrees, and then the next day it's like below freezing. So I'm in that phase. So it's like it's freezing right now, but like 2 days ago it was over 90 degrees.
Yeah, like here it alternates between like probably like 35 and maybe 55.
Yeah.
So it's either kind of chilly or it's kind of warm, but I don't mind it.
Yeah. But we chose this like nice foresty area because it's a little more springy and stuff.
Yeah, it's a bit more springy. It's only like a week till we spring ahead with the clocks too. Then we gain some daylight.
Ha! Nice pun.
That's how I remember it, is spring ahead.
Are we technically in spring right now? Because spring
I think we're in meteorological spring, but we're not in like calendar spring.
Okay.
That's I think that's a few more weeks away.
Okay.
That's fine with me. I don't really mind. It's also like it can still snow, but then it just melts the next day because it gets warm again. So that's
yeah. I can't wait for it to get hot. I want to go mountain biking again.
I know. I just want to walk outside.
Yeah,
I do. Like walking.
I like walking out in the woods during winter time. That's my thing, man. I was just like 2 or 3 days ago. I was down at my mother's house hanging out with my mom and my grandma, and I was getting my dogs groomed because we know the groomers down there. So I just drive 45 minutes down to her house to get the dogs groomed. And it gives me time because I get to go out in the woods near my mom's house where I grew up, and I get to like spend some time out there, and I play music. I talk to the trees. I listen to, what do they have to say? Very, very old forest. So, there's wisdoms out there to be heard if you know how to listen. So
it's a very like almost spiritual type of thing.
Yeah, you could say that.
I think I always like the winter because it's very quiet, like you were saying, and like you go out at night and it's still kind of bright out because the snow and stuff gets reflected off the light gets reflected off the snow, so it's kind of purpley. It reminds me of winter spring, which is why it's that way. But like you can see everything, but it's got a nice light glow to it. It's like, ooh, I love it.
Oh yeah, dude, like winter, like when the world goes to sleep. For those of you listening, I mean, if you have never like walked out in the woods like at night in the winter, like when there's like just snow on the ground, there's nothing like it. It just it intoxicates like all your senses, like your sense of smell, sight, hearing, like everything goes on edge. I don't know. It's just a weird feeling. Yeah. So, thank you for relighting the fire.
No problem.
Yeah, you are the fire maid, so.
Yeah, you're right. What's your favorite season in that? I don't know if we talked about this last time, but mine, I always try to figure out my favorite season, but I realize I love all the different aspects of every season. Like the changing seasons in general. Like I love what we just talked about with winter, but then spring, one of my favorite things in spring is maybe like 55 to 65 degrees and rain. And just walking out in the rain and just feeling it hit your face, and it's like very refreshing.
Yeah, I have two answers. On one hand, it's summer, because like listen, I live down in the South, and if there's one thing that men in the South love to do, we love to mow the lawn with our shirts off. Okay, like man, I love to mow the lawn. Like there's just nothing better than you crack open a bear you know, and then you just like push your you push your push lawn mower and you mow the lawn and you have your your big old gut hanging out, and then your neighbors are all walking around with their big old guts hanging out, and you wave at each other.
It's like King of the Hill.
Yeah, just like King of the Hill. It's just like King of the Hill. Howdy, neighbor. How's it going? And so I love mowing the lawn. So the summertime, like it's great. Like I love the heat. I love to sweat, and because I've been losing a lot of weight and stuff. The heat helps. I enjoy sunshine on my shoulders. Little John Denver reference there. But I also I really like fall because of Halloween. Like, dude, every time I make friends with somebody over in Europe and they want to come over here to America to come and visit me, I always tell them, I'm like, dude, the time to be in America is around Halloween. All the stores get decorated. I mean, down here in North Carolina, we have Scarowinds. We have like all the haunted places that pop up everywhere. People go all out and decorate their homes. I do Spook Stock, this big yard haunt event every year with my friends. I mean, like Halloween is like when we go all out. I love it. And so around fall, like around Halloween, definitely, because that's when I spend a lot of time with my friends, and we just have a good old time. And I like the changing leaves. Makes me happy.
That's what I mean. It's like I can find things I enjoy about every season. Like I like what you mentioned. I love the changing leaves, and it kind of gets a bit crisper in the air because it's getting cooler out and you're getting ready for winter. But in summer, I love the heat. Like I love just going out in the heat for a bit and letting the sun like shine on me. It's like, oh yeah, just like bacon in the sun.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It's just I enjoy every season. Some people are like, I like this season the most. And I used to be like, oh yeah, I like fall, or I like winter, or I like spring. And then I was like, I think I just like all of them.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, like when it comes to winter, I think one of my favorite things about winter is, like you said earlier, the quietness, how everything just goes quiet and still. I also very much enjoy the feeling of cold air in my lungs. It makes me happy. And also, I mean, winter is the time for guys like me and guys like you to really shine, the bearded folk.
Yeah.
It's why we grow beards, guys. It's so we don't have to wear scarves or anything when we, during the winter time.
I had my hair long this winter too. It was I finally got a haircut.
My friend, I forgot who it was, but he saw a photo of you and he was like, "Wow, Crendor's turning into Jesus."
Yeah, people are calling me either Ikea Jesus or Hobo
Ikea Jesus. There you go. Speaking of Ikea, dude. Okay, a long time ago, some of you old Crendor fans might remember this. On Twitter, Crendor posted this photo of this like what the fuck thing that he found at Ikea. It was like a children's toy, and it was like a black and white caterpillar with like little stick legs. Every time I go to Ikea, I look for those things. I'm like, man, I gotta find one of these things. And I find like the what the fuck toy section, and I'm always like looking for that like weird ass caterpillar. Because I want to take a photo of it and be like, Crendor, I bought this for you. But
I actually bought it, and I have it, but it's only like a seasonal thing. So I got mine 2 years ago or whenever it was, and now they just keep alternating out. They're like, here's the new batch of weird ass toys.
Okay.
And I'll always just buy. Like I bought the sun in this last batch. I like the sun a lot.
Okay.
So
like the sun, like as in like the the thing in the
it's
sky.
like a little happy sun, like a thing in the sky.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. Every time, like Crendor is actually the one that seduced me to go to Ikea for the first time because I had never gone.
When did you go?
Like, dude, I told you that one day. I remember I linked to you, like I took a photograph and I was like, Crendor, I'm going into Ikea. Remember?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I was like, I'm going in Ikea. I'm going in. Like.
How long ago was that? Wasn't it like a few, like 4 or 5 months ago?
It was before. No. It was way before that because it was before I moved into my house.
Oh.
And okay. I moved into my house in June of last year, and so I was looking at furniture and stuff. So it was probably like in May of last year.
Oh, all right.
A year ago. But dude, I go to Ikea. I won't say all the time because that'd be a lie.
Yeah.
But when I have nothing to do and I just want something to do and I just want to go somewhere, get away from the house, I'll just go to Ikea and walk around and just look at stuff.
Exactly. It's what like everyone always questions like, why do you love Ikea so much? It's because it's a weird type of experience you can't really get anywhere else. Like you go through this maze of rooms And it's like, oh, I can just chill in this room. And then you like change your environment completely by walking another 5 feet. And you're like, oh, this is a whole completely different room. You can just sit there and look at your phone. You can walk around the whole place and look at other people shopping. You can look at the rooms. Like, it's such a cool atmosphere to be in.
Now, there's one thing to say about IKEA, though, guys. All right. A warning. All right. Now, I'll never do this again. Okay. So I've eaten lunch at IKEA a few times.
Right.
You know, I eat the salmon and all that stuff. But the last time I went, or maybe, no, it was the time before last, I got lunch at IKEA and I made a mistake. I bought the IKEA cornbread.
Oh, no.
I do not advise the IKEA cornbread. I mean, maybe it's fine. Maybe some of you will be like, oh, no, it's fine, Nixxiom. I love the IKEA cornbread. Listen, dude, I got that IKEA cornbread. I bit into that, and it was just sour. Like, it was like, I literally almost vomited right in front of everybody. I just went, I was like, oh, my God.
Here's the thing, is when you go to eat at IKEA, everybody's always like, oh, the meatballs, the meatballs. The meatballs are okay. They're not like the greatest thing you're ever going to eat. They're not like the best meatballs, but you got to eat them at least once because that's just IKEA. Yeah.
It's the
I
rule.
like the ribs the most. They have actually pretty good ribs at IKEA. Yes.
I don't think they have ribs at my IKEA. Maybe they
really?
do. I haven't noticed. When I go, I get like the salmon, the chicken tenders, the meatballs. What else did I get? The cornbread.
I know they got wraps. I know they got what else do they got? They actually have a wide variety of stuff for an IKEA cafeteria.
Oh yeah.
I would always get a chocolate cake slice too. That probably killed my gallbladder.
Yeah, we have to talk about your gallbladder experience. Yeah, we have to go into the saga of the gallbladder.
Yeah.
But I love IKEA, man. I go there. I go there every now and then. Actually, speaking of IKEA, the last time I went to IKEA, or the time before last, I saw something in IKEA and I could not believe my eyes. And so the last time I went, I bought it. All right. I did not post a photo of this on Instagram. When I was in IKEA the time before last, I was with my mom and we were just walking around looking at stuff for my living room because I was looking at trying to get like a small reading table. Yeah. And when we were going through like the children's section, my mom was looking for toys for my nephew, and I couldn't believe it. I saw a basic brown teddy bear. I have never before in my entire life seen just a plain teddy bear. Like the teddy bears that I always see have like these bullshit hearts on them and bows in their like behind their
like
ears,
20 feet tall,
or they're big and stupid. Like no, this was just a pure basic brown teddy bear, the thing you see in cartoons and movies, and you're like, man, do these things actually exist in real life? Well, apparently they do. I was so shocked. I went back to IKEA and bought it, and now he sits on my fireplace. You know, he sits on my fireplace, and I have a humidor, and for those that don't know, that's for storing cigars and stuff. And he has like one arm on my humidor. It's like I keep the humidor right above the fireplace. So
that's really cool.
He protects my cigars. Yeah, I haven't given him a name though.
IKEA, for like being a furniture place, actually has a lot of little like knick-knack type of things that you can find as well. It's just a great place.
People are gonna say that this video was sponsored by IKEA.
Oh my god, people in my last video are like, Crendor, you've done it. All the ads I'm getting are IKEA ads. And I was like, all right, I'm making it. Yeah, I just need a sponsorship.
Yeah, you need to hit up IKEA. Like, come on, man. I give you guys promotion all the time.
I'll probably go there pretty soon. Like my walking ability slowly coming back from my gallbladder surgery.
Yeah, let's talk about your gallbladder surgery.
Yeah. So
and how much fun it was.
Well, first off, I mainly wanted to talk about it with you over other people because you're gonna have to get it eventually. Well,
they real quick, let me kind of explain what you mean by that. Like, I went into surgery, I had an operation in November because I was having gallbladder stone attacks, and I thought it was a stomach ulcer for the longest time. And I went to the hospital, the emergency room one day, and it was because it was just so bad. I was in pain for like 15 hours, and they did a ultrasound on me and they determined it was gallstones causing like the freaking tremendous pain. And they hit me with a bunch of morphine, and they did an operation where they stuck a tube down my throat and they cleaned out my like bile ducts. And they wanted to take my gallbladder out, but I was like, I want to go home. And also, this is going to cost a lot of money. So
Yeah.
like, I think I'll wait. I think I'll just like, now that I know what the thing is, like, I'm just going to really control my diet and, and yeah. And so, but down the road, yeah, like Crendor said, I'm going to have to get it taken out. And luckily, it's not a problem. I haven't had a pain attack. I had 2 very mild pain attacks since the operation, but very mild, like just enough to keep you awake, kind of, but not that bad. But Crendor here, you figured out that you had gallstones, and so they were like, let's take it out. And you were like, okay.
Yep. So let me tell you the story. I don't know if I've even told the actual story of how I got through all this. So about 2 years ago, I started getting some stomach issues. It was right after I had mono, which was a fun experience in itself. And I started getting like weird chest type of pains. And it was like around my heart. So I was like, is my heart bad or like what's going on? So I had an EKG done. And they're like, no, your heart's fine.
What's
and I was
an EKG?
Like, electrocardiogram. It's where they put the little sticky things on you and then the paper's like, and it like tracks all your, I guess it looks for your, make sure your arteries aren't clogged. I think essentially is what it does. So they're like, they're like, all right, you're good. They're like, maybe it's heartburn. So they gave me some heartburn medicine. Didn't help. They're like, all right, we want to do an endoscopy. So they did an endoscopy. They went down into my stomach with a tube camera thing, looked around. They're like, you got some mild gastritis, but nothing that would really cause what's like happening to you. So then he was like, I bet it's your gallbladder. So then I had a CT scan, and they're like, it's looks like something is up with your gallbladder. It looks a little weird. So then they had an ultrasound, and then they're like, yeah, you have 1 gallstone. And I was like, only 1? I was like, well, that can't be too bad, right? And he's like, well, even 1 can block your bile duct, and that's bad. And so he's like, if you have no symptoms, you can probably live with it, but just remember that it's there. And if anything gets bad, to call 911. And I was like, all right. So I lived with it fine for like another year or so, up until I would occasionally get like some irritations, or like I'd eat a like spicy thing, or Panera even, where it's like kind of greasy, and I'd get right in my upper right quadrant like a queasy feeling. It's kind of like, ugh, and I thought it was my stomach, and I was like, I'm gonna drink my peppermint tea, and like I'd do all these things, and it just take a few days to go away. It was queasy, like not even nauseous, just kind of like, ugh. And then this last, around Thanksgiving, November, I started getting this, it felt more irritated, and I was like, all right, whatever. And then I drank eggnog, because I saw eggnog at the grocery store, and I'm like, I haven't had that in a while. And eggnog is pure cream, eggs, and alcohol, and it's fat. It is like the most fat you can drink, and your gallbladder gets triggered by fat. And so I had that, and after I drank that, I could feel that gallstone. I was like, oh. And I was like, okay, well, that irritates it. And I was like, but maybe it's just, maybe it's just my stomach or something. And so the next day that we were like, well, we got to finish it off. There's not much left. So I did it again. And I was like, nope, it's there. And that really like set everything into motion. And I was like, okay.
Was this like really painful for you, or?
It wasn't even like an attack like you're talking about. It was just for about maybe like a few minutes. It was like, oh, I feel it. And then it would kind of fade away, but then it kind of lingered. Normally when this would happen, it would fade after like a few days. And then it was like 2 weeks later, and I'm like, it's still there. So I was starting to get more worried, because normally it'd go away by then. And so Christmas rolled around, and I was just eating some food, and then I was like, oh, that kind of triggered it. And I was getting to the point where every so often it would kind of be like, I'm getting worse. And I'm like, and I would like go in the bath and just lay in the bath and be like, calm down, go away. And you just like try anything to get it to go away. And so they did an ultrasound again. They're like, yep, stone's still in there. So they're like, you should probably get it out. And I was like, all right, let's get it out. So I scheduled everything. And about a week before I saw the surgeon, I made a terrible mistake. And I was like, all right, I haven't eaten anything today. My friend wants to go get a hamburger. Oh, boy. And I was like, all right, let's do it. So first off, your gallbladder works hardest when you only eat like one thing a day.
Yep.
Because you're storing all the bile in your gallbladder, and then it like dumps it out. And it's like, all right, that's how it works. And so I had a hamburger, cheese curds, more fat, fries, and a beer. 2 beers.
Oh, gosh.
And so I was like, all right, I'm feeling good. The next day, I ate a banana, and I thought I was like, oh my God, this is a terrible pain. I thought it was my stomach, and it turns out it was my pancreas.
Okay.
And what happens is when you have a gallstone, it can block the bile duct, even if it's only a little bit. Like, it wasn't fully blocked, just a little bit. And then your pancreas tries to release enzymes, and it gets blocked by the stone and gets pushed back into the pancreas and irritates your pancreas. And since I did that big fatty meal, it got like really irritated. And it was like anything I ate caused me pain. And it was so bad. And then I just started eating low fat, and I started eating like multiple meals every day. And I was like, all right, well, it's helping a bit, but I still had like some irritation. So I was like, this is, it's a very good time to get this out because it's getting worse. And so then I talked to the surgeon. He's an old Eastern European man. He's like, we take out gallbladder, we do it. That's what we do. I've done this 40 years. I'm like, okay. And then I was like, my one doctor said I could kind of keep it for a while. He's like, who said that? Who said that? You take it out. I was like, oh, okay. And then he's like, I can do tomorrow. And I was like, no, I think I can go like a few days or a week. So I did it a week later, which was about a week and a half ago from today. And so here's what happens.
Now hold on, before you go into the surgery, did you ask them if you could keep the gallstone?
I did not. I should have, though. I got a picture of it.
You got a picture of it? They ain't giving me nothing. When they did my ultrasound, they were just like, yep, you got gallstones. I mean, I might have like literally a bag of marbles like inside my body.
Yeah, you probably got a whole bag in there.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I
one was bad enough.
Or it might just be a couple. I don't know.
Yeah.
It didn't look too bad. I mean, I was watching the ultrasound screen when they were doing the thing, but I didn't know what I was looking at. So
normally, if they do the ultrasound, they can tell you how many there are. Afterwards.
They didn't tell me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh. Oh, like, not to cut you off, but yeah, dude, when they did the ultrasound for me, like I was already in like so much pain because I had been in pain for like 15 hours. So like having that woman shoving that metal thing into my side, I was like, even like laying down was painful. Yeah. And then she was doing that, and I was like, hurry, please, like, faster, please. She's like, I gotta take my time. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, I'm like gripping like the sides of the table, like, oh my God. I was like, please hurry. Like, I was like begging her, like, please hurry. I can't. I was like, I don't like being a pregnant lady getting an ultrasound.
I was reading stories of pregnant women who, like, apparently they call it the 4 Fs. This is what all the doctors said for ultrasounds. They said female, so women get it more often than men. Fat people tend to get it more often, especially if you drop a lot of weight. Yeah. So if you're fat and drop weight very quickly, it's like a patented way to get gallstones.
Like me.
Like you.
Yeah.
One was 50, so if you're over 50, or maybe it was 40. I think it was 40 if you're over 40. And I think the other one was fertile, so if you're pregnant, you're more prone to get gallstones.
Yeah,
so, yeah, a lot of pregnant women get them, and they're like, I would rather have childbirth than this pain. Like, dude, that's how bad it can get.
Like, dude, it's bad. Like, I dealt with it for months. Like, I've never been in so much pain in my entire life. Like, guys, you will literally, like, I had like a pain scale, and like, dude, when I had like the 10 out of 10 pain attacks, like, I mean, most pain attacks were like 5 or 6s, but like, dude, every like at least like twice a month I get that 10, and like it would just be, I've never been in like, I had it happen like twice where I actually just collapsed on the ground and was like on the ground and my whole body was shaking and I was just drooling out my mouth like, and like I couldn't even talk or anything. I was in so much pain.
I remember the one time you said you thought you were gonna die.
Oh yeah, the first time I had like a big pain attack. It was the second pain attack I ever had, and I had no idea what was wrong with me. The first pain attack, I just thought I had like indigestion or food poisoning.
Yeah.
But the second one, I was in so much pain. I thought my stomach had ruptured. Like I seriously thought I was gonna die. Like it was so much pain. I was on the ground, like just my whole body was shaking. I was in so much pain. But I remember my friend Tate, he was over at my house and we went to Wendy's, and I hadn't had a pain attack in like over a month. And we went to Wendy's and we got a cheeseburger and everything, and then went home and blah blah blah, you know, did whatever, and eventually went to bed. He was spending the night here, and I woke up and I felt the pain attack coming, and it was a 10 out of 10 pain attack. And I mean, I was in the bathroom. I walked in the bathroom and I was bent over the sink, and like my arms and my legs were shaking, and my head was shaking, and I was just drooling out the mouth, just like looking at myself in the mirror. My eyes were like going bloodshot and shit.
Dear
like
God.
And like I was like, Tate, like I was trying to call him because but I couldn't talk. I was like, Tate, Tate. And I was like knocking on the wall, like trying to wake him up in the living room. And eventually he woke up and he walked in and he was like, oh my God, like what's wrong? What's wrong? And I was like, call my mom. I was like, call my mom. Like I just kept whispering it. And he's like, okay. So he called my mom, and it was like 3 a.m. and she drove up here. It's like a 45-minute drive, and she was here and she watched over me. Her friend Odelia and Tate, they like watched over me for like 9 hours while I was in that pain. And yeah, it fucking sucks. Like, dude, I'm telling you, like, guys, I mean, if you it's bad. Like, yeah, I have not had a pain attack. Like I said, since my operation in November, I've had like 2 very, very mild pain attacks. But yeah. So I'm very glad that you never got to that phase where you were having those sorts of attacks like 3 times a week.
Because I was fine up until like just a few months ago, and then it really started bothering me, and I was like, all right, I don't want to get to your point. Like even when it was like irritating my pancreas, I'm like, all right, this is going a little too far now.
Yeah.
So
oh dude, never again. Yeah. So, as soon as I can afford it, dude, I'm getting the thing taken out.
Yeah.
So now tell us about.
All right.
Tell us about the getting it taken out and the after effects.
So, I got there at 8 a.m. ready to go, and they're like, all right, you take your vitals. They check everything. They make you wash yourself with this like super cleanse stuff to get rid of all the bacteria. And then they make you wipe yourself down with another thing when you get there, so you're like super clean, no infections.
That's cool.
And then you put on your hospital shit and your little hat, and you're like, all right, I'm good to go. And then they bring your family in, they talk to them for a bit, and then all the people start coming in. They're just like, the nurse comes in, they're like, are you allergic to anything, or blah, blah, blah. Anesthesiologist comes in, he's like, yo, I'm gonna knock you out. And you're like, all right, sounds good. And
that's what mine said too.
Yeah,
I'm gonna knock you out.
He's just like, I'm gonna give you some anti-nausea stuff, I'm gonna give you this, I'm gonna give you that. And I'm like, all right, sounds great to me. He's like, I'll give you a sedative, calm you down a little bit. I'm like, that sounds even better. And then I honestly, like, after that, they started coming in to be like, all right, you're ready to go. I barely even remember that. I think that sedative like literally knocked me out after, because they're just like, I kind of remember like saying bye to them, but not really. And then just kind of, they put the mask over me, and I have like a vague memory of that, and I was gone.
Oh, so they knocked you out like before they actually took you in the operating room?
Yeah, I think it was because I was kind of tired from being up so early. So I think the sedative is just like, I was gone.
They didn't do anything to me before I went into the operating room. Like, they just said, like, the doctor walked in and he was like, you ready to go, Mr. Smith? And I was excited. Like, I'm one of those people where I just like new experiences, even if it's like somebody shoving a giant metal tube down my throat. So I was like, yeah, man, let's do it. And he's like, okay. And so they wheeled me into the operating room, and it was like all the doctors were there, like the anesthesiologist, all those people. And they were like, the anesthesiologist guy was like, hey, Mr. Smith. And I was like, hey, man. He's like, you ready to go? And I was like, hell yeah. I gave him a thumbs up. And I just remember them putting that mask over my face, and I could feel the liquid going in through the IV in my hand, and
Yeah,
they
the
were
IV
like,
is
"All
really
right."
weird too. It's like kind of cool.
No, I
Literally
hate the
cool.
IV.
Oh,
The
you don't
IV
like the
was
IV?
the worst part of the hospital, guys. You don't understand.
Really? I
Especially
didn't mind the IV.
Dude, I have to get my IV in my hand.
I didn't mind my hand. I still have the little scar by it.
Oh my god, you can like feel the needle like in between your bones and stuff. Like you're trying to sleep with that thing and you can't move your fingers. I hate it.
Did
like
you get it on the top of your hand?
Yeah, the top.
Oh, that was fine. I don't know. Different people, different strokes.
Yeah. Whatever, but yeah, they just put the mask over my face and they were like, "All right, Mr. Smith, show us how deeply you can breathe." And then I closed my eyes and I opened my eyes again and I was like, "So when are you guys like? When do I get knocked out?" And then like there was a lady beside me and she was like, "Oh, you're done." And I was like, "What?" And I like looked left and right and I realized I was in a totally different room. And I was like, "Oh, my throat hurts." And I was like, "Oh my god!" Like all the senses started like turning on. Oh, my throat! Like I was like, "Oh my god!" It was just, it's very trippy. I told Mookluk about it, and Mookluk was like, "Ugh," because you blink and 4.5 hours passes.
Was that your first time with anesthetic?
Yeah. It was also my first time getting morphine as well.
Oh yeah,
I was in so much pain. They gave me morphine, and I hated it.
Well, we can talk about that in a little bit because I got morphine as well. So I'll talk about. But
yeah, keep telling your story.
So yeah, I was gone. I'd only had anesthesia a few times. One was with my wisdom teeth. The other one was for oral surgery for like a tooth correction I had to have done. And both. Oh wait, and then I also had it for my endoscopy. So that's 3 times actually. Okay. But 2 of them are just like the really light gas, which is like the oral surgery stuff, where it's like, all right, you're kind of asleep, and you're like, whoa, I woke up, and it's like time just flew by, and then that's the weirdest part about it is it's like you were frozen in time and just woke up. They could have been like 8 years went by, and you'd be like, shit, dude, really? Like it felt like a blink of an eye.
So I wake up from a coma. Like, good lord.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling. So I woke up and I was in bed and they're like, "How you feeling?" I'm like, "I'm feeling all right. I'm feeling pretty good." They gave me some crackers. I ate the crackers. I had some water, and then they're like, "All right, sweet. Do you want to go home? You feeling all right? You want to stay?" And I was like, "I think I can go home." And they're like, "All right, well, you just gotta pee, and you'll be good to go." And I was like, "All right." So they take you back to your family in this like waiting room, and it's just a bunch of people waiting to pee. And you're like, all right.
Why pee? Like, why?
Well, when you go under anesthetic, the last 2 things to wake up are your urinary tract and your GI tract. So just all your bodily functions, essentially.
They didn't tell me that.
Yeah. So once those wake up, they know, like, all right, they're good to go. Like, you're not going to have any problems.
Okay.
So I was waiting to pee, and I couldn't pee. And I was like, I know, I'll just keep drinking a lot of water and apple juice and all the shit they were giving me. And I was like, I'll just, overload my bladder and then it'll be like, oh, you gotta go.
Yeah.
But they didn't tell me that didn't matter. Because even though you load your bladder, your urinary tract hasn't woken up yet. So you don't have the urge to go at all.
Okay.
And you would think they would have told you that, like, oh, you shouldn't keep doing that. You just wait till you gotta pee a little bit and you're fine. But they're like, have more water. And I was like, all right, okay. So I just like kept drinking. And they're like, you go yet? I'm like, no. And then they're like, oh, you had gallbladder surgery, not hernia. And I was like, and they're like, yeah, usually with gallbladder, like, there's no issues at all. Like, you'll be fine. You can go home. And I was like, okay. So I go home. We like drive home. And I wait like another hour and a half, and my bladder starts hurting. And I'm like, I don't think I can pee. I think we need to go back to the ER. And so we go back to the ER, and I'm like, I can't pee. And they're like, all right, that's fine. We're going to put a catheter in. And if you don't know what a catheter is, here we go.
Yeah, to educate the young people.
To educate those of you like, catheter? Catheter. I'd always heard stories of catheters, and I was like, I never want one of those. And I was like, oh no, I'm gonna need one of those. So it's a tube, very small tube, but big enough to be irritating, that they jam into your ding dong.
Yeah.
And down in there and into your bladder to have it just drain.
Dude, that's some people's fetish.
It is, and I don't understand it. So I knew. I was like, there's people that do that. That's really. I don't get it. Good for them. I'm never going to do that unless I desperately need it again.
Yeah.
So that was like, does it hurt? And she's like, don't worry, I've put a lot of these in. And I was like, okay.
Don't worry, I'm a doctor.
So she's like, deep breath in, and then it's like, doop, and you're like, it's a burning.
She shoved it in that fast?
Yeah, they put it in fast.
Oh my god! I thought it was like they just like slowly slide it in, like, you know, giving it some slack here and there.
No, they've done enough of them where they're just like, whoop, that's in.
Oh god!
But it's probably like 3 seconds of burning, and you're like, ugh. And then you're like, oh, my bladder's empty, because it starts draining, and you're like, okay, it takes a while, but then they're like, all right, we're gonna send you home with your catheter. So for a day and a half, 2 days, I had to carry around this bag of urine that would just leak out, and I was like, all right, fun. So they had that on top of the pain I already had, which just made the whole experience even more fun.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, well, what are you gonna do? It's over, it's done, it's a thing.
Yeah.
So the next day, I was like, all right, starting to heal a little bit. My incision was kind of sore. So what they do is, if your gallbladder is healthy enough, they don't gotta slice you open. They do 3 little incisions. It's called laparoscopic, and they go in with robot tools and cut it. And then they do 1 slightly bigger incision, which is the one that hurts, at your belly button. And they pull out the gallbladder through the belly button. And that's it. So it's one of the most basic surgeries. Like, it's what they train surgeons on, a lot of people were saying.
I watched a YouTube video of it being done before after they suggested I get it done. I was like, I'll watch a YouTube video. It looked pretty simple.
It only takes like 30 minutes or something. Like, it's pretty easy. So I was like, all right, whatever. But they also, to do that, pump you full of gas. And they do that to balloon you up a bit so they can move around inside you and work on you. And that was the most painful part, honestly. That hurt more than the incision hurt. And it was like, the
gas lingers, right?
Yeah, it lingers. It goes up into your shoulders. It goes into your neck. It gives you neck pain, shoulder pain. You're like, ugh, and then it just makes you feel really bloated. And so,
how does it get out then? I mean,
you either burp it out or you fart it out. And the worst part about that is they're like, so you're not gonna be able to fart for a while, because that's the last thing to wake up. And since I already had trouble peeing, they're like, you might take a bit longer for that to happen. And believe it or not, it did take a bit longer.
Oh my gosh.
I hit the second day.
Okay.
And I was starting to feel really bad. Like, on a pain scale, I was getting up to a 7. Just in bloating pain alone. I felt like I ate like 15 cans of beans and it just couldn't get out.
Now, like, could you sleep?
I could barely sleep. I could sleep for like 30-minute increments.
Okay.
And I'd just wake up and be like, and just kind of like, and it hit the point where I was like, I think I need to go back to the ER, because I was like, I don't know if something's wrong or if there's like something's blocked or whatever. So I go back to the ER, and they give me morphine as we're waiting there, and it barely even did anything. Like, I could still feel a pain, but I just got kind of sleepy, and I was like, just like sitting there. Like, all right. I don't know if they gave me a lot, but they gave me just a little bit, but like, it wasn't anything great, honestly. Like, what about you?
Oh, but the morphine?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. So I was in pain, and they were like doing they did the whatchamacallit, ultrasound and all that crap. And I'm sitting there, and this guy is like having this casual conversation with my mother, because I was down at her house. She had taken me down to her house to watch over me, and it was like the middle of the night, and I told her, like, I have to go to the ER. And so he's like having this casual conversation with my mom while I'm sitting on this like hospital bed going like, I'm in so much pain. And he's like taking like his time, like getting the morphine ready. And then he hit me with the morphine, and it was just like, I was like, he told me to lay down on the bed. So I'm laying down on the bed, and laying down really hurts when you have one of these panic attacks. So I'm laying down, like, and as soon as the morphine hit, I was just like, I could feel it traveling up my arm. Like, and when it hit my brain, I was like, like it was like all the pain just disappeared, and it felt like I gained like 500 pounds. Like it just felt like I
Jesus.
sank into the bed. I was just like,
It's like quicksand or something.
I have a picture of me. Like my mom took a picture of me when like I was with like when the morphine hit me.
Yeah.
And like, cause I sat up at one point and I was like sitting on the edge of the bed, and my mom took my picture and I'm like giving like this like weak peace sign, and I look like I'm just, because I am, like I was just doped to shit. Like just so doped up. But I didn't like it, man. Some people are like, oh, you know, they love like being all high and whatnot. I'm like, no, man, I don't like it. Like,
yeah.
So, but yeah. But continue. All right. So you're back at the ER, loading.
Back at the ER, getting my morphine in, and so then they're like, all right, we're gonna do a CT scan of your, digestive system, make sure nothing's blocked or obstructed. So they do that, and they're like, well, you're fine. So it's just you just gotta wait. And as I was sitting on the ER like doctor table, I like finally farted a little bit, and I was like, oh my god, this is the greatest fart I've ever had in my entire life.
I was about to say that. I bet it was like a miracle for you.
I was like, oh my god, this is amazing.
I did.
And so it like slowly started coming back, and
did you tell the doctor that you did it?
I did, and he was like, oh, all right.
I did it, doctor.
I did it. And he's like, well, that's...
Have a lolly.
Yeah. So they're like, oh, your surgeon's coming down. So my Eastern European surgeon comes down, and he's like, what? Oh, why are you here? And I'm like, oh, I just had the bloating pain or whatever. He's like, why do you have catheter? Why is catheter in? And I'm like, I couldn't pee. And he's like, they send you home without pee? You're fine. He's like, they'll take it out now. And I was like, okay. So nurse comes in. She's like, you getting that catheter out, I hear? I'm like, yep. And she's just like this 60-year-old woman.
Is it the same nurse that put it in?
No, this is a different one.
Okay.
And she's like, all right, let's get this thing out. And she was just like, I'm not going to give you boxing gloves. And I was like, what's that mean? She's like, I don't want you to hit me. And I was like, oh, okay. And I thought they were going to like slowly pull it out and be like, and then like they lube it up or something. So they do lube it up. They like have a little thing and they like pump it full of lube, and then they're like, all right, same thing, deep breath in. And I'm like, and then she yanked that shit out. She yanked it out, and I was like, oh
my god.
And that feeling I compared it to,
I can imagine.
Imagine ripping off a Band-Aid. Now imagine ripping off a Band-Aid down there. Inside of it. Yeah, that's what it felt like. And I just kind of laid there. She's like, all right, you can take a minute, 2 minutes. I was like, I'll take 2 minutes. And it's kind of laid there. And I was like, all right, I think
I'll take 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think I'm good now. So it felt good to not have a tube up there with draining my urine out. And they're like, if you can't pee in 8 hours, come back. And I was like, oh, I'll pee. I will make sure I pee. And I got home and I peed, and that was the greatest urination I've ever had in my entire life, because that means I didn't have to get that again.
Yeah.
So that was fun. And after that, I slowly started to get better, finally. So like the gas pain went down. Your abdomen is still really sore. Imagine just doing like 1 billion sit-ups. And then it's like that, like laughing hurt, coughing hurt, sneezing hurt. Okay. Sneezing, I had one sneeze, and they're like, hold a pillow up to your abdomen. I did that. It didn't matter. I just was like, like it was just so sore. Okay. And I didn't want to like rip the stitches open or like give myself a hernia or something.
Yeah.
Because you don't want, like, your abdomen's already weak, so you're not supposed to lift anything for like 2 to 3 weeks. Because hernia, and then you like another operation. It's like great. So I've been being pretty careful with that. I've now been able to like laugh a bit more. I can kind of lightly cough, like it doesn't hurt as much, so I'm healing from that. And
dude, that's gonna suck for me because I cough all the time.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, like I've had a permanent cough like for my entire life.
After my sneeze, I didn't sneeze, cough, or laugh for like a week. And thank God I didn't, because even like streaming, I noticed how much I laughed, where I'm like, and I would hold it. I was like, or I'd do my like,
Yeah.
yeah, because that didn't really hurt. And so I only had like a couple times where I kind of overlaughed, and I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
But I mean, aside from that, I did pretty well, and I'm still doing pretty well. But it's healing, and then the incision, itself was the main thing that hurt. So right around your belly button, my belly button kind of looks like Frankenstein's belly button now. It's like got stitches. It's kind of like warped a bit because that's where they go in. It's like through your belly button.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's getting better, but it's right now it had sharp pains, which is apparently the scarring. So like that was for a while, and then they take the dressing off, which is like the actual surgery bandage, and then they put a normal bandage over it once it's all like sealed up, and then you just kind of wait. Now it's honestly not that bad now. It feels more like just slightly you know how if you got like a sore or something and you kind of have a shirt that kind of keeps rubbing over it, and it just irritates it? That's kind of what it feels like now.
Okay.
Where it's really not that bad. And I mean, I'm about a week and a half into it, so I think another week and a half, and I'll probably feel really good.
Okay.
Yeah, I got no gallbladder.
Yeah, dude. Have you like, since getting your gallbladder out? I mean, like, have there been any like, I mean, like, can you still go to the bathroom? Okay. I mean, like, what have been like the effects of it?
So that's the other thing is after your GI tract wakes up, they're like, the last thing is bowel movement.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, great. So I didn't have one for like 4 or 5 days. And then finally I had it. And that was a journey. I was like, it was like clogged up, and then it was good. And then it was like, woo. It was like all the different types of things that could happen. And I was like, great. And then aside from that, like you're supposed to have a liquid diet until that happens. So I was just drinking like Gatorade, water, and Pedialyte. And then once that happens, you can start eating food. So I'd eat chicken, rice, crackers, graham crackers, just broccoli. It's like really bland, almost like you have the flu or something. And then you're supposed to slowly reintroduce fats. So like I had chips and salsa, and I was fine. I had 1 bite of pizza, and I was fine. So I'm kind of just like slowly kind of tempting the waters. I've had coffee, and I've been no problems there. I've drank a lot of coffee, and I'm good.
Does coffee have a lot of fat in it? I don't drink coffee.
Well, the caffeine can irritate you, but
okay.
It's been fine with me. Some people like I can't have caffeine, I can't have alcohol, I can't have spicy food. But I mean, I've had caffeine and spicy food so far, and I'm perfectly fine. I've also been taking a probiotic, which is supposed to help, and I guess it has been. But I've also been eating a lot of small meals throughout the day, which they say is easier on your digestive system. Because what happens is the gallbladder, it stores all the bile that your liver makes, and then when you eat a fatty meal, it kind of shoots it out to help digest the fat. So when you don't have a gallbladder, that's not a thing anymore. So if it can't digest the fat because there's not enough bile, it'll just kind of you just pass it out. So you just poop out a lot of bile and undigested fat. So not the most fun. So when you eat small meals throughout the day, it helps you with your digestion and kind of keeps your bile production a little better. So it's just easier on everything. And I mean, that's what I've been doing, and I've been doing all right. I'm starting to eat more and more things that are not irritating me that should irritate some people. 'Cause some people are like, I can eat anything. Like, I got mine out. I can eat whatever I want. Some people are like, I can't eat this. I can't eat that. And some people are like, oh, I can eat everything but blank. Like, I can eat everything but bacon. Or like, I can eat, there's some people are like, oh, I can eat a hamburger, but then after that, I got to wait like 12 hours before I eat another fatty thing. Like, it's kind of just playing around with your body and being like, all right, does this work? What about this? It's just testing the waters.
Of course. Like everybody's different.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm doing the same thing. Like, I'm really, I watch what I eat. I mean, I'm still like, even after the operation, like I'll still like eat a hamburger and like, chicken nuggets, whatever. But just the main thing that I've learned is that do not eat anything fatty about like 8 hours before going to bed, because then you'll probably have a panic attack.
Yeah.
So, you know, like for dinner, like I'll probably have dinner here in a little bit after we, you know, wrap up recording. Or what am I saying? I already ate dinner. I ate actually just before we started. I just had a peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah.
So, peanut butter sandwich, done, you know, and then just a water. So my dinners are always very light. And then, but for lunch, you know, I'll get, you know, sometimes like me and my friends will go to Cookout or something, get a milkshake and a hamburger, and that's fine. But I also, you know, I go to the gym like every other day, so I get to burn all that like fat out. So, but yeah, so no pain attacks for me. But like I said, eventually Crendor has gone through this this torment, and eventually I get to go through it too. So I'm pretty excited. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
It's
like,
gonna be
honestly,
one of those like it's gonna be one of those like shitty experiences, but I'm just gonna be thinking the whole time like, oh, it's gonna be such a good story.
Yeah, that's what I always thought. It's like, this would be a great story.
Yeah. I can't wait to tell the story. Oh, it hurts.
Yep. And I mean, overall, it probably is gonna hurt less than your pain attacks do. So I mean,
oh yeah, like dude, yeah,
it's well worth it.
I will happily take some soreness over the pain attacks. You know.
So that's gallbladder stories. But
yeah, dude.
Because of that, I kind of I was gonna bring it up. You made a special ASMR video.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for when I was resting from my gallbladder stuff.
All right, so as you guys know, Crendor likes ASMR. Shocking. All right. And so like I put out a tweet like slightly before his surgery, and I said I should make an ASMR video just for Crendor or something. And then I learned shortly thereafter that you were gonna do your surgery like later that day or like the next day or something. And I was like, oh, well, I guess I'll do this ASMR video for like Crendor, and he can listen to it when he's recovering. And so I went out in the backyard and I was like, okay, what should I do? Now, it's not like an ASMR video where it's like, so I'm whispering into the mic.
Yeah.
It's not one of those things, guys. It was just me like in my backyard sitting by a campfire, or well, you know, just a fire, and I'm smoking a cigar and drinking scotch. And that was it. And it was like a 45-minute video of me just like chilling out and talking and, you know, just, you know, discussing things, blah, blah, blah. And I made the video, and people actually really liked it, which I thought was funny.
It's kind of like this in a way.
Oh, yeah. I also liked the comments where people were like, you should do your Q&As like this. Like, I did for the longest time. Like, Fireside with Nixxiom, but I liked those comments. But people really liked it. And fun fact about that ASMR video, for anybody who might have seen it. So in the video, I smoked this cigar called a I forgot what it's called. I got the wrapping in like the other room because I kept it.
The big poppy cigar.
Yeah, the big poppy cigar. It's called a Garcia My Father cigar, I think it's called. And it's like a $13 cigar. And I smoked it. And in the video, if you watch it, guys, I say in the video, I'm like, whoa, this is like a really strong cigar.
Yeah.
Right. And I even say in the video, like, if you're thinking of trying a cigar, I would not recommend this one as your first. Like, I could just tell it was a strong cigar. Now, I don't smoke cigars or drink all that often. I do it on occasion, like maybe once or twice a month. I'll sit back with the guys and smoke a cigar and have a good time. And it's great. It's a good way to bond. But anyway, so I smoked this cigar. You know, you guys can watch the 45-minute video of me smoking it, talking about life and all that stuff. And then, but what you don't see is what happened after I turned off the camera. Because what happened is I turned off the camera, and I stood up to turn off the camera. And as soon as I stood up, I was like, oh my God. Like I was like, holy shit, I am like 6 times higher than like I should be. Like, dude, I was fucked up. Like, I was like, whoa. Like, you know, normally like when you smoke a cigar, guys, because you're not inhaling cigar smoke, you just get kind of like relaxed. You know, like you're not high, you just get relaxed. No, dude, I was high. Like I mean, I was like in the clouds. I was like, holy shit. I think this is the highest I've ever been off a cigar before.
Yeah.
And so like I turn off the camera and I'm taking everything into the house. And I'm so like dizzy and like the room is like swaying left to right. And I like, I sit down to start putting the footage like on my computer to edit it. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to throw up. I'm going to throw up. So like I get up and I walk into like the living room and I'm trying not to throw up. And so I sit down on the couch and my dogs are trying to jump up on me. And I'm like, no, get off me, please. I'm like, don't touch me, please. No one touch me. And I'm just sitting there like as still as possible on the couch. And even like moving a finger. I remember like I moved my pointer finger at one point and that even made me nauseous. Like I was just, it's for those of you that smoke cigars and know what this is cigar sickness. I've only gotten cigar sick twice in my entire life. It was the first cigar I ever smoked and this one for WoWcrendor. And what cigar sickness is, it's nicotine poisoning. You have too much nicotine and it literally makes you sick. Like it makes you feel nauseous. You feel like you're going to throw up. Sometimes it can be painful, like all your joints will hurt. That's about how it was the first time for me. But I just sat on the couch for maybe like 2.5 or 3 hours, just kind of like drooling a little bit out the mouth, just trying to hold as still as possible because I just felt so sick. And then eventually I was able to lay down and I laid down for like an hour and then I wasn't able to sleep. I just laid there. Yeah. And then eventually I got up and I was like, oh my God, I'm okay. And that feeling actually lingered for like 2 days. Like that, like I could feel like that I was cigar sick even like 48 hours later. Yeah. And but eventually, it passed through my system and I was like, damn, that was a good cigar. So I'm gonna go buy another one. So that was a pretty good cigar. I just know to be, since I don't smoke all the time like some people do, I know just take it a little bit slower. Yeah. But maybe only smoke like half of it. And
make
but
another video.
Make another ASMR video. Yeah. But it was a good video. I mean, I really enjoyed doing it, and I was drinking the scotch, and some people were triggered by my fancy scotch drinking. They were like, "Yeah, you're supposed to drink it," and I was like, "Listen, I'm not drinking it to get drunk. I'm drinking it to, just slowly, just to enjoy it." Mm-hmm. Yeah, like don't sniff the whiskey. It's like I want to sniff the whiskey because then you can taste the flavors.
Yeah, that's it's kind of how I am with wine and coffee. I became like a douche with those things where I got really into red wine, and I aerate it, so you swirl it, and then you smell it, and you inhale, and then you inhale as you drink, and that gives you like the best type of flavor. And so I got really into wine. Well, and it's one of those things where it's like a lot of alcohol has that type, but I noticed wine in particular, at least red wine, is very much like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I am not a drinker in any way, shape, or form. Like, I really do not like the taste of alcohol. I drink it only on occasion. But like the thing for me, you see, like whenever I tried whiskey in the past, like I hated it. It just tastes like shoe shine or like fucking cough syrup or whatever. Yeah. It tastes horrible. And I would drink it and I'm like, oh my God, like how do people drink this? And they're like, oh, it's not for the taste. And I'm like, I understand that, but like, good Lord, like still, like even the after effects like aren't worth it to me. So it's like, who cares? Yeah. But then, a few years ago, I was watching a YouTube video where a guy was talking about the importance of like smelling your whiskey, and also probably in that category, like sniffing your wine before you drink it. Mm-hmm. And he was talking about how like by smelling a whiskey, like 4 or 5 times, like taking it real slow, blah, blah, you actually like you're opening up your senses to the taste more. Mm-hmm. So like if I get that whiskey that I was drinking, I still have some left over. If I were to just swig some right now, I would just taste alcohol, and it would taste like shit. But if I take like a minute or two to just kind of sniff it, prepare my mouth for it, like kind of taste it before I even like put it in my mouth, and just take my time, I'll just taste apples. Like when I drink it, like you don't even taste the alcohol anymore. You just taste actually what's in the whiskey. And
that's why people do that thing like, I taste subtle hints of cranberry.
Yeah. Yeah. So but yeah, so in that case it's nice. But cigars as well. I mean, like cigars have tastes. You know, I have different tasting cigars. I mean, the cigar that I smoked that one night in the ASMR video, that cigar didn't really taste like anything. It was just kind of spicy.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of tasted like just a very earthy, basic cigar, but it was really good. But my favorite cigars, I really enjoy them. They're like $7 each, or they're called Javas, and as the name implies, Java, it tastes like coffee, vanilla, and mint. And it's not like, it doesn't like taste like, it just has like this little slight taste, you know,
subtle.
very, very subtle, and you really smell it more in the smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And but you know, like to me, like when it comes to like, you know, cigar smoking or whiskey sipping, like I'm not doing it to get drunk or to get high. I'm just doing it to slow down. Like the point is to slow down. Like, so you're not trying to chug nothing. You're not trying to smoke that thing as fast as possible. That defeats the point. You're just trying to slow down. So those of you in the comment section that were like, Nixxiom, just chug that shit, don't sniff it, you're missing the point. You're missing the point. Like, but
well, it's one of those things where as you kind of experience all that, you kind of grow your palate. Like I remember I first drank wine and I was like, woo, wine. And then you're just like, oh, alcohol. But then you realize that not all alcohol and all things taste the same. And so I started finding wines and stuff that I like. So I was like, dude, my favorite wine, it's this like $13 wine called Predator, and it's got a ladybug on it because the ladybug's like the predator that eats the other bugs off the leaf where the wine grows or whatever. And it has a very oaky taste, and I love oaky barrel tasting types of things. And I taste that, I was like, oh my god, this is the best. I've had like douchey wine at like fancy dinners and stuff at like TwitchCon, and like people are like, let's go to dinner, like fancy dinners like that. And I was like, oh, that's some good wine. Yeah, the TV dinners.
Are you referencing Total Biscuit there?
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, I think the most expensive wine I ever had was me and my friend Nick. He came to visit from Vegas, and he loves food. And he was like, dude, let's split like a super expensive wine. We'll get like that's like $120 bottle of wine. And I was like, you know what? For you, I'll do that. And so we did. And I was like, damn, that was some good wine. It like it's so smooth, it goes down. Yeah. And then it's like, aside from that, I was like, well, other wines are kind of whatever. But then I had this wine, and I was like, dude, I love this wine. I like preferred that over like $50 wines, whatever. It was just $13. And it's so good. I love it. And so I always recommend that to people who like oaky, barrely red wine. And it's very good. And I can't wait till I can drink it again, which is probably like a few weeks away. I was going to make it so my first alcoholic beverage since the surgery would be on St. Patrick's Day. I was going to have a Guinness as like an honorary St. Patrick's Day thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that like a Java cigar, for those of you that might go hunting for one in your local tobacco store, it's very mild cigar. You don't have to worry about getting sick off of it. I mean, to me, it's mild. I've never gotten sick off of it, not even slightly. I don't even really get like, it feels like the perfect cigar to me. Like I've never gotten high off of Java. You just get that relaxed feeling.
It's like a light buzz.
Yeah, I wouldn't even describe it as a buzz. Like, I would describe it as just like, I don't know. It's like, it's like, you just feel just everything kind of slows down. It's kind of like the same feeling that you get when you are reading a book by a fireplace. Everything is just chill. Like you don't feel high, like you don't feel intoxicated. You're just like, you just feel chill. Like, you know, like, you're just kind of sitting there. You're just relaxing.
You inspired me to try a cigar at some point when I'm better.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, man. Like, if you come down here, I've got 4 Java cigars in my humidor right now. I'll give you one. Be like a little intro for you. So, and you like coffee, so you'll like it. I also really like Javas because it's a very smoky cigar. Like when you light those things, I mean, it smokes. Like it's like a little smokestack. Some cigars don't smoke like at all. You light it and it doesn't smoke at all. But these things like create an aroma. So I do not recommend smoking them in a house because goddamn, you you will fill that room with smoke in like 10 seconds. But
I'll make sure I'll have like wait, and that'll be my first cigar moment.
there you go. That'd be cool. We'll film an ASMR video.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna ask, what'd you think of the ASMR video? Did I do good?
I loved it. I love that it's by a fire. I think anytime you're next to a fire, it's always very calming and relaxing.
Yeah.
And then just the quiet talking, the stories. I think when you see somebody else chilling out, just kind of like by the fire, having a like relaxing time, it does the same to you. You kind of mimic it in your brain, and it's almost like you're there.
Yeah.
It's that same experience, which I think is why so many people enjoy it.
I was actually very surprised how good, like, because I have a Rode mic for my camera. I was shocked at how good the sound came out in that video.
Yeah, it was really good.
Like, if you turn up the video or like the volume, I mean, you can even hear it when I like swallow like the scotch and everything. I was like, oh my God, because I was so concerned that the sound was going to be terrible.
Yeah, or staticky or something.
Yeah, like static. Well, not staticky, because it is a good microphone. It's like a $250 mic.
Yeah.
But I was afraid that like it just wouldn't like sound good. Like it just wouldn't sound good enough. But I was like, wow, this came out perfect. So I'll probably, I mean, people want me to do more videos like that. And I mean, I'm not really like in the mood for a cigar to like drink scotch, but maybe at some point, you know, I'll like sit back and talk about things. I forgot what I talked about in the video. I remember I talked about my grandfather's belt a little bit.
Yeah.
Because my grandfather, you know, I wear his belt like all the time. He's dead. And so, you know, his like belt, I like, carry that around with me. It's got a big silver dollar on the front of it. And cool. Yeah, so, but it was a fun video to make. You should make a video like that where you drink wine.
I should. Wine by the fire with Crendor.
There you go.
I'll do that. When you have your gallbladder out, I will make you one of those.
Okay. or what you can do, if not by the fire, do you have like a fire pit in the backyard or anything?
Yeah, I have a fire pit.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say you could just like be like a fancy schmancy and like sit in an armchair next to like a candle.
Yeah.
You know, like hello everyone.
An
like
Ikea
you
candle.
Wear a suit. Yeah. Hey, it's me.
So have like 4 Ikea candles.
There you go.
Lined up.
A bit like a big one, like all the different sizes. Yeah. That would be cool.
Welcome to Wine and Classiness with Crendor today.
Wine and Classiness. Classy
Wine and
Crendor.
Classy Crendor. That's what we'll call it.
Classy Crendor episode 1. Wine.
Returning the favor.
There you go. Yeah.
So I thought we'd wrap it up by talking about Patreon.
All right, Patreon. Crendor wants to make a Patreon.
So here's why I want to make a Patreon. I've always been against a Patreon.
It's because you're just greedy.
It's because
you steal money from everybody. Greedy.
It's I've always kind of been against Patreon. We had a bad experience with the Cox and Crendor Patreon.
I've heard. I don't know the story though.
It was mainly just me talking to Jesse and being like, we gotta record, and then he'd always be too busy. And
Jesse.
Since I was the one who started the Patreon, I kind of felt like a responsibility towards it, says like, well, I should have asked him like if he would have been free more often before, or it was just a mess. And so that kind of gave me a bad taste, and people were like, you're stealing our money, you should have canceled it. And I'm like, I probably should have stopped it, I'm sorry. So it just felt bad. And then Jesse went on to make his own Patreon, and I was like, all right, whatever. Like, I considered Twitch my Patreon. I was like, if people want to give me money, they can sub on Twitch, they can drop bits, donate, whatever you want to do there. But after this all happened, a lot of people were like, I don't want to support Twitch, I just want to give you money. And I was like, oh, okay. So some people were like, why don't you have a Patreon, or like, you should make a Patreon. And the more I thought about it, I was like, well, YouTube has been YouTube with their advertisement revenue. You don't know what's going to happen. Twitch is kind of like mellowed out. It had like a huge boost, and then everything's kind of gone back to normal. And then my medical bills are coming up, so I'm like, all right. And I have insurance, but even with insurance, it it's American insurance still doesn't cover. You know, instead of paying $1 billion, you pay $1 million.
Yeah,
so
like I don't have insurance. So
yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, so I'm like I've paid off a good bit. I think I'm like still $11,000 in debt right now to the medical stuff. Yeah.
It is. And then I got my 2 ER trips too, which is woo.
Yep.
Fun times. So it's kind of stressful, like doing all this. Then you got like all these things like dropping. I'm like, I don't know. So Patreon to me is just another form of support. So it's like you can support me by just watching YouTube videos with ads on. You don't have to support me at all. I'm not making you. It's you can go on Twitch, you can subscribe, you can do whatever, you can buy merch, like whatever it is. It's just another way, another option people can have to support me. But I didn't want it to be like just a bland way of like, hey, give me $1. So I've been trying to think of some cool ways to like give back to the patron people, because I'm probably gonna launch it on like Monday.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking after I come up with some ideas, one of them I wanted to do was like everybody has Discord meetups nowadays, but I wanted to do it where it's kind of like fishing with Crendor, where you can meet up with me on Discord, but then we all like go fish somewhere in game. Like maybe we all make level 1 characters and go fish in Mulgore or something like that. So it's kind of a little bit of a unique meetup. And I was thinking of things like non-content I can make for Patreon users, or cooking with Crendor, or just like I could give little blurps in my book, or I can, there's
that was
like
a cool idea. I heard you talk about that.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool, because I mean, most people, or I can even do like, I was gonna do world building videos and just talk about world building and what I'm doing, because I think a lot of people on YouTube and in these types of places don't really care as much. They're just like, where's the Hearthstone, where's the machinima? Well, I feel like people that would want to be on Patreon would be like, oh, this is cool, like some almost behind the scenes type of stuff,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, people who tend to support you, whether it's like on Twitch or on Patreon, like my community isn't as big as yours when it comes to like Twitch and stuff, but my community is really like small and tight. Like I know like everybody. I mean, I have like, Toby, his wife, my lady friend who I met, like they all just came out of my community, and they've come to visit me. I've got 2 other people like that are viewers of mine coming to visit me in August. Shout out to Becca and Sprinting Fish. And like I know all these people, and they tend to be like they tend to be people that they want to they like to know who you are behind the camera. I mean, what I do on my Patreon is Patreon for me was in a similar vein. Like when I first started with Patreon, I had to learn from experience, and I had to learn quickly that be very careful with your rewards. Like don't promise too big. Like, because when I first started, I was like, yeah, if you donate like $10 a month, like I'll put you in a WoW Machinima video. And I was like, oh my God. And then like all of a sudden I had like, 50 people like in line to be like, well, not really 50. It was more like, 5 or 6 like in line to be in like WoW Machinima videos. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, and I'd have to like try to come up with these like weird ideas to like put people's characters in, because I wanted them to be like characters, not just, NPCs in the background. And, so that was a pain, and I eventually canceled that, and I changed up the rewards once, and I changed them up again and again and again. And then eventually they're where they are now. One thing that I'm actually doing here pretty soon, I'm going to be announcing it. I was supposed to do it this weekend, but I'm just busy this weekend because I'm going to a birthday party. I'm doing this recording with you, and then my friend Little Ben's going to be here all day tomorrow, or the next day on Sunday. But we're going to do our first patron game day. And it's an idea that actually I came up with the patrons. Like we were doing like our little Patreon Discord meetup, and I was like, I was asking them, the subject of our meetup was, what do you want? Because I told them I wanted to change my rewards. I wanted to like express my thanks in new ways, like new exciting rewards. And we came up with this idea together, and I was like, it's a patron game day where when you pledge, maybe you could do something similar with your fishing with Crendor idea. If you want, when you pledge like X amount, I think it's like $25 to me personally, you pretty much enter like this, you can become a part of the patron game day. So to explain, let's like just use you for example. So let's say you pledge $25 to me. Okay, cool. So there are obviously, let's say there's like a few people in front of you that have also pledged 25 like in the past. What I do is like once a month, I'll look at the people who have pledged that much or more, and like I'll grab the earliest person who pledged to me, and I'll be like, okay, I'll put out a poll like in a few weeks in advance that every one of the patrons can vote on. Be like, what are we gonna play on Patreon game day? Okay, PUBG, for example. Okay, so I'm gonna grab 3 people off of the off of this list or whatever, the 3 patrons, and then we're gonna play PUBG. But we're gonna play PUBG, but I'm also going to record it, and I'm gonna put it on my YouTube channel, and I'm gonna call it Patron Game Day, and it'll be a video edited just like when me and you play PUBG. Like I'll just cut out like the boring bits, and it'll just be the funny bits, and it'll be us just having fun together.
That's a cool idea.
Me and the viewers and stuff, and so it's a way to like like being honest with your audience. I mean, it's a way for me to, number one, I get to hang out with my viewers. And I mean, every single like viewer of mine that I've met, I mean, there's been some cringy people, but 99% of all like the people that I've met from my community have been the coolest people in the world. And so it's a chance for me to hang out with them, meet new people. It's an opportunity for me to make a video. So it's it's like a free video for the month. It's also a way to promote the Patreon page, and it's just fun. And so and they like I've talked to my patrons about it, and they're like, yeah, like let's do it. So I'm going to be announcing that here pretty soon, the first Patron Game Day. We're going to be playing World of Warcraft. That's won the vote. So we're going to do like, I don't know, maybe like a Mythic Plus dungeon or something.
Yeah.
So, we're just gonna have a good time. Maybe do some like PvP. Maybe PvP will be fun. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a cool idea. Like, to me, it reminds me a lot of Twitch in a way. Yeah. Like, it's almost like subscribing for a specific amount that you would get, and you get special privileges. You get like instead of unlocking emotes and a badge and whatever, you get Patreon rewards or whatever. It's and I'd actually rather that than someone just donate like money to me on Twitch or something, because then you're at least getting something out of it. That's why I always told people to buy merch, because at least with merch you like get something that's useful, like you can wear sweatpants or whatever. So I'm kind of excited for it. I think it's cool.
I think it's also nice because, like, unlike, let's say, a YouTube channel, like a really big YouTube channel, Rooster Teeth. Okay, that's the first one that came to mind. Rooster Teeth, Watch Mojo, like these are companies. Yeah, these are like tons of people working. Like for me and for you, it's like, well, I'm gonna speak for myself here. Like for me, like it's just me. Like it's me. Like I'm the only.
Just me too.
Yeah, like it's just us, and the cool thing about that is because it's just me, because it's just you, because we're not like a business, it allows, speaking for myself again, it allows me the opportunity to do because I'm not a business, I have the opportunity to engage with my community like that. Like sit down and play a game with them and talk to them. And because when I first like got into YouTube and streaming, I really didn't have much of an interest in like getting to know anybody in my community. I was just like, oh yeah, like it's the community. Yeah. But I was like, yeah, these are like my viewers, but like beyond that, it's just that. I wasn't like in the market to like make friends with my viewers. But then I started like, I actually took inspiration from my friend Brutal Static, because he has a very small Twitch stream. Well, it's not like very small. I shouldn't say that. He's got like a decent little Twitch stream, and he knows everybody that watches him. He knows them. He knows about their life. He has them as his like phone contacts on his cell phone. He's gone and visited them in real life, and I mean, like they have like a really tight community. And him and his wife, like they just had a kid, and he does very well on Twitch, despite having like a very small viewer base compared to someone like, let's say, Asmongold. He does very well, like financially and everything. And I was like, how? And we had this conversation, and he was like, oh, dude, like he was like, I mean, I didn't specifically talk to him about this, but he sort of nonchalantly was telling me like, yeah, dude, like talk to your viewers, they'll surprise you. And so I started doing that like maybe 2 years ago, like 2 years and some change ago. I actually started playing Overwatch with some of my Twitch viewers for fun on Discord. I was like, oh yeah, I'd just be on Discord and be like, hey guys, want to play Overwatch? And we played Overwatch, and then started playing WoW. And then eventually, like people like Toby and his wife, regular viewers of mine, they came and visited me last March, and I've got more people coming to visit me, and I've gone and visited my viewers and stuff over in Europe, and it's been cool. So I'm very much looking forward to the patron game day thing. It's going to be exciting. I'm pretty sure, I know for a fact, you're listening right now. I know who you are. There's going to be that one really cringy guy that I'm going to get into this, that I'm going to like record this video with, and I'm going to be like, oh Lord, like it's you. So, but you're making those bad jokes and stuff, but whatever, man. I still love you anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, not you, the generic viewer.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but it's one of those things where it's just a lot of people. There's so many opinions on it. There's people just being like, just another way for you to make money, and it's like it's not inherently a bad thing. Like it's another option for people to support a person they enjoy. So I mean, it's like you're not forcing anybody to give anything. It's like if you don't think I'm funny or you don't think I make good videos anymore, or you're like I'm not supporting someone who doesn't make machinimas anymore, then you don't have to give anything. And
I mean, like
that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, personally, me, like people that make comments like that are just usually like they're either like very young people or very jealous people. I mean, like I give money to people all the time. Like I donate money to people on Twitch. I'm subscribed to people like I'm subscribed to Brutal. Am I subscribed to you on Twitch? I know I was for a while. I have to go check, but I'm subscribed to Brutal. I'm subscribed to Asmongold and a few other people on Twitch, Laputin and so on and so forth. I mean, I give these people money like every month, like because I like these people. I think they're funny, and I don't mind giving someone, $5 so they can go to Chipotle. Like I don't care.
It's
like what's the big deal? Like
EXBC. It's like the Korean stream. They just walk around Korea, and I always turn them on if I'm bored because it's just something in the background or there's funny. And I've been subbed to them for like almost 2 years, and then I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna give them 10,000 bits. I just gave them like $100 practically.
Hey man,
and it's just like it was one of those things where I'm like, I just feel like I gotta pay them back for all the time I've spent watching them, because I watched them for probably hundreds of hours at this point. So it's like, you know what? I can drop like some money instead of going out to a fancy dinner or something.
Yeah,
and get
dude.
it to support them. So it's just, I don't know. It's one of those things where you feel kind of bad, but it's like, you know what? There's a lot of people who've been like, I'd love to support you on Patreon. So I'm like, you know what? I'll try it out. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, like at the end of the day, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's like me or Asmongold or even just you listening. I mean, every person, we're just like, just a bunch of people just expressing our interests in different ways. And hey, if you want to support your favorite content creator, do it. I mean, I support Asmongold because I think he's funny. I mean, I've given people $1,000 in tips before, just to be nice, just to help them, in times when they like needed help. Like, hey, here's $1,000. My friend Mike. I mean, the first time I met Mike, the day that I met him, I learned like he was a really cool guy, and the day that I met him, he told me that he was going through some financial troubles, and I was like, dude, if you ever need my help, man, I was like, just hit me up. And he asked me, you blinked.
I accidentally blinked.
Yeah. He asked me if I could loan him like $1,000, which in the end I didn't have to do, thankfully. His family was there to back him up, but I was like, yeah, man, if you need my help, by all means. Like I was ready to write the check for him. And even with you, I mean, I mean, I'm sure you're well off and fine, but I mean, like, if you ever need help with your medical bills or something, I'll throw like $100 your way.
Yeah. Well, it's more about just a security thing. Like, I'm not gonna file for bankruptcy, but it's one of those things where everybody always asks you, like, what'll happen if YouTube dies? What'll happen if Twitch dies? And it's like, well, this is the reason you do these types of things. It's the reason when you're an entertainer, no matter, online, offline, you could be a comedian, whatever you are. That's the reason, you have so many sources of revenue, like a Patreon, a Twitch, a YouTube, merchandise, sponsorship, like whatever it is, because it all adds up. What if one of them dies, you still have your other, 4 sources coming in. You know, it's like having it's like being in a game essentially. Like imagine if you're trying to get food and you've got a supply of, I don't know, chickens, and that's all you have, and you're like, we got a lot of chickens, man. But what if you had like apples and chickens and pigs and like a couple other things? Then if one of them, you know, it's like it's a hard winter, there's no chickens, it's like, well, I have my other things. So it's just about smart business essentially.
Yeah. But I mean, there's always going to be people, like I'm sure that you've gotten ever since you announced your Patreon idea, there's going to be people that are going to, you know, they're going to like, you know, smack talk.
There's always a couple, but there's always a couple bad comments on YouTube. There's always a couple bad people on Twitch. There's, you know, that's all over the world. I mean,
it doesn't matter like what you do. Like it doesn't matter like how much money you give to charity. I mean, it doesn't matter like, I've literally like traveled to Africa and like, you know, fed starving kids and stuff. People are still going to hate you.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've accepted that. I've learned that as a content creator. I mean, like I've never like personally been involved in any sort of, you know, online drama, but there are people that hate me like online. They watch my videos and like, I don't like these videos. I think they're too cringy, or I think they're like, you know, like I'm like above the age demographic that Nixxiom is targeting towards or whatever. So blah, blah, blah. So I don't like them, and fuck that Nixxiom guy in real life. That's fine.
Yeah.
Like, that's fine. Like,
there's people I don't really like, but you know, I just am like, well, I'm not gonna watch their stuff, and then that's it. I don't know. Yeah. That's just life. You know, you hang around people you tend to get along with and have chemistry with, and then other people do the same thing. And sometimes, you know, people don't match up, and that's just whatever. Like people will be like, I hate when Crendor's on the co-optional podcast. And other people are like, I love when Crendor's on it. It's like, it's just, you know, some people like tomatoes, some don't like tomatoes.
You have to establish an us in your life, and then a them. The people within the us are like the people who, these people like their views, their opinions like have like value to you, and then there's them, and like their opinions and their whatever they believe in doesn't matter to you. It's like, okay, you know, you don't like me, that's fine, I don't care. You know, or like even if it's like, so I think that's important. I think if you're I'm giving advice here, like I know we're just talking about Patreon and stuff, but it is kind of like a behind the scenes sort of thing, that behind the scenes of the mind of the content creator. But for anybody that is listening that is maybe an aspiring YouTuber or content creator, oh man, there was something I was going to say in regards to that, like, you know, establishing the us and the them. Oh man, there was something I was going to say, something really specific. Just understand that some people just aren't going to like what you put out there. That's fine. And you just do you. You know, you just have fun. I forgot what I was going to say, though. It was something really important. But it'll come back to me in 1 minute.
Yeah. Well, I always thought of, I don't know, like this isn't the most popular opinion even for online content creation. Because so many people are like, oh, I just got to keep growing. I got to get bigger. I got to get bigger. And it's like, I almost like to be content in the middle in a way, like not too big, not too small. Like I don't think I'd ever want to be one of the streamers that's getting like constantly like 5,000 viewers, 10,000 viewers. Like it's actually anxiety inducing for me. Like there's just so many people, and it's like I kind of take pride in having a more small knit, like mature community. And I think a lot of people follow you for your personality. Like I think a lot of people grew up watching my videos even, and now they're getting a bit older and they like watching me because I'm just chill. You know, I'm not going to be like, whoa, wacky gamer 545 here with a wow, wacky. Like I'm just like, it's not me, man.
I love
like,
wacky gamer 545.
Like I remember someone came into Twitch one time like, Crendor, like you're not like, whoa, you're not bouncing off the walls, you're not playing games that are like the popular games right now, you're not doing you're not doing anything right. And I was like, I mean, I'm just being me, man. Like I'm just, you know, I'm gonna play League of Legends and get like 500 less Twitch viewers if I want to play League of Legends. Like I don't care.
I mean, like for me, me and you are like in the exact same boat. Like if my bills are being paid, I really don't care. Like I literally like,
I don't need a Lamborghini and
I
my
don't
YouTube money to flash around or something. Like, I'm content in my
know if
whatever I got.
yeah, I mean, like YouTube earnings like are down for a lot of people right now, like including me. And I mean, like my bills are getting paid, and that's fine. I mean, I actually felt like, I mean, like even like last month, like people were very generous to me on Twitch. I don't know where the generosity came from. People were very generous to me, and at the end of like the month, I had like $1,200 like just laying around, and I was like, you know, I actually got to the point, like, I shit you not, like, you know, for those of you that might not watch my Twitch, I shit you not, I did this because it was important for me to do this. It was like halfway through the month, and people had been like so generous that I actually, you can go and rewatch the stream, guys. I'm serious. I told everybody, like, please don't donate to me for like the rest of the month. Like all my supporters, I was like, please don't give me any more money. Like, cause I told them my bills are paid. I'm fine. I feel bad at taking this money when I really don't need it. And, you know, and they stopped donating. Of course you got like the $2 like little tip here and there from like random people. But, like my main supporters were like, okay, Nixxiom, cool. And, they actually talked to me like in private, and they, you know, we had a little heart to heart moment. But anyway, I won't talk about that because that's kind of corny. But in the end, I had like $1,200 laying around, and that's what I actually I spent that money on this new like microphone setup and stuff to make the streams better and the videos better and stuff. And so I was like, hey, if I got this extra money, I might as well just, you know, use it on the channel, you know, or use it on the stream. And so that's what I did, and people really like it. And I can also do like crazy effects, like sound like I am from heaven. But yeah, and so if my bills are paid, I really don't care. I mean, I don't promote my Patreon too much. I never have promoted my store.
Yeah.
And if people want to sub to me on Twitch, appreciate it. If they don't, well, appreciate it. Thanks for watching.
Hey man, as long as I can go to Ikea and buy my $13 ladybug wine, I'm perfectly content where I am.
You're what the fuck bug or whatever.
Yeah.
And the
I don't want to live in a mansion. I don't want like a YouTube house where they're like, welcome to the YouTuber house. Like, I just...
The YouTube... Oh, yeah. The YouTuber
I don't
house.
need that, man.
No.
I'm pretty minimalistic.
Luckily, like me and the lady friend, we're like on the exact same page where we both want a homestead one day. So like, I mean, like we're gonna probably like do our best to like pay off this house, and then we'll see where it goes. We'll probably try to get into like, you know, just renting property to people, and then we'll eventually have like our actual house, and you know, like probably like a ranch, and I'll grow like my food and raise my chickens and goats. And she wants to work with horses, so she wants to you know, breed horses and stable them and care for horses and stuff. And we're on the same page. Like we're both like very like, you know, very, very minimalistic. And I like that. So because not everybody, like it was pretty surprising when I met her. Like not everybody wants to live a homesteader's lifestyle, because I mean, you're essentially, the goal is you're going to be like trying to live under like $50 a month. You know, like even like electricity is kind of like don't really need it. You just use candles and firelight. I mean, pretty much the only thing I'd probably be using would be like the internet. And like that's it. But this would probably be like in the phase of my life where I'm done with YouTube and everything, so I probably wouldn't even need that. So I just need me, the lady, and the 12 children, and that's it. So but
well, you're far more minimalistic than I am.
Crendor might need a little bit more than some chickens and goats.
I at least need my Ikea furniture.
Oh yeah, you need the Ikea. Yeah. Okay. I feel like this conversation just going full circle back.
It all wraps back to Ikea.
Ikea is the source of everything.
Listen, I'll be open with you about Patreon money. I'll be like, guys, this month I've used the Patreon money to buy an Ikea couch. Here's a picture of it. You did
I was gonna say that earlier. One thing that I do on my Patreon, which maybe you could do too, is I do these like private videos. Well, they're unlisted, and I just like talk into the webcam for like 20 minutes, and I just say, hey guys, this is what I'm working on, this is what I'm doing, and this is what I spent your money on, and yeah, thanks for supporting me.
And I think that's an important thing to do as well, because I don't want to be so. It's like, thanks for the money. See you later. Like, I enjoy being
sucker.
open. Like, I got nothing to hide. And be like, this month this is what I did. Like, does anybody have any like recommendations for like what I can do? Like, upgrade the microphone, get like one of the things you got, or just like just communicating. I think it's all about just communication. Because so many people are like, here's my Patreon, and they're like, where's the money go? And they're like, I have it. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great idea. I think I'm definitely gonna do like a monthly, like, what am I doing?
Well, I think it's also I think it's also good that you haven't like when it comes to like your Patreon, like I promoted my Patreon. Like I had a Patreon for the longest time. I just never promoted it. I promoted it the first time the first and only time really, when the YouTube adpocalypse started, and I was just like, hey guys, if you want to be a safety net for me, I appreciate it. And then like after like the YouTube adpocalypse sort of, it's not really over, but it like sort of evened out a little bit.
Yeah.
I actually made a post on my Patreon and I said, hey guys, everything's cool now. If you want to unpledge from me, like unpledge.
Yeah.
Like you said, at the beginning of the conversation, you got your medical bills you're gonna have to pay. You said that the months have been a little slower for you lately with Twitch and YouTube and whatnot, and it's not like you're just making a Patreon to make a Patreon. You actually have a reason behind it. So you're not a total sleazeball. So so maybe I'll even pledge to your Patreon.
Thank you very much.
I'll get I want your rewards. Thank you very much.
It's it's honestly, even on Twitch, people will be like, oh man, I've been subbed like 4 months, I'm so sorry, like I can't sub next month for money. I'm like, never feel like you're obligated to sub to me. Like, if you got other things that are more important, like, by all means, you don't even have to do anything for me. Like, I'm just here playing games, man.
I always tell people, make me your last priority.
Yeah.
Like, because people say that to me too. Like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't pledge to you. I'm like, dude, I should always be your last priority. Like, your goldfish should have more priority in your life than me. Like
it should be, I have excess money to spend, I'm going to spend it on entertainment. Because to me, entertainment is that. It's just excess money. Like, you should always focus on your family, food, just goldfish, just necessities in life. And then when you're like, all right, I can drop a few dollars here or there. Like, that's pretty much what I do. If I had like a good month, that's when I had a good month. It was like a while back. Whenever I gave EXBC money, I was like, you know what? I got like some extra money. I can give them like $100, and it just felt good. Be like, yo, I've watched you for a while, and here you go. So it's one of those things where it just feels good, man.
I think Crendor has donated to me before on Twitch.
I did. I think I gave you like $15.
I think, because I've donated to you before. Yeah. I don't remember how much I gave you. It was a while back. Yeah. I've given you like 3 donations in my time, I think. Be like, I'll give them. I'll like include some like lewd message.
Yeah.
It's what I do.
I don't do the text to speech.
Oh, you don't?
No, I read everything.
Really? Oh yeah, that's right. Is there a reason why you do that? You don't like
Well, I like having control of everything a bit more. So, it's not going to be like my rafflecopter goes whoos, 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 or like something like that. But I kind of like not like the...
You just like reading.
Personality. What's the word I'm looking for? The...
Tone?
Genuine? It feels more genuine when I read out somebody being like, hey man, hope you're doing better. Thanks for this. Here's some money. It's like, oh, thanks. Like, not like, hey man, thank you for giving. Like, I just don't like it.
Yeah.
It's just a personal preference.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. So, I don't know. That's our lives.
Yeah, that's a little window into the background.
Yeah.
So. But when Crendor makes his Patreon, go support him on Patreon.
And if you got any ideas for rewards, put them in the comments, and I might use it if it's a cool idea.
Yeah.
And go support Nixxiom. You still got your Patreon.
I still got my Patreon. I still do.
Or at least watch his smoking cigar, sipping scotch.
Watch my ASMR video.
At least do that. I'll link that video because it's got to be there.
You got to make sure you watch all 45 minutes of it, guys.
Yeah.
It's very important. Okay. Your
It's
life.
not even a
depends on
true
it.
view if you haven't watched the full thing.
Yeah, you have to watch the entire thing.
Yeah.
Like there are people that literally have left comments on that video that do not watch my content. They're like the ASMR community of like YouTube, and they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
so good, such a good video. Like I'm so relaxed." Like, and I'm just like, "Oh,
No problem.
no problem. I'm here each Thursday. I mean, like, but I'm here all week."
All right.
But-
Well,
You want to wrap up?
let's wrap it up. It's been almost 2 hours. Wow,
Oh boy. Yeah,
Um,
my lady friend has been messaging me this entire time, and I've been ignoring her. So
I
I'm just
gotta
gonna-
go eat
Yeah.
so I can, keep my bile regulated.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll link your thing below. So if you want to check out Nixxiom, just click on his video. And, there you go.
You won't be
uh,
disappointed. Maybe you will, but like the video anyway.
So we'll go camping again. We'll just do it whenever the season changes.
Yeah.
Keep swapping zones.
Yeah. Sounds
So it'll
good,
be
man.
fun. All right. Well,
All right.
I'll see you later.
All right, guys. Yep. I guess we'll see ya.
See you.